HCA is a leading U.S. hospital group founded in the 1960s and headquartered in Nashville, Tennessee.
Exactly. Established by a guy called Frist. That was his first name. His son was a prominent U.S. Senator, Bill Frist, for a while. And, you know, it's the largest, as you say, of the U.S. companies. Also got business in the U.K. Actually surprisingly small, given that you'd think the U.S. big healthcare market. But there's a lot of fragmentation in hospital ownership, in terms of...
So is this a trick in terms of the market cap here?
No, it's only $30 billion.
Because it's much smaller than I was expecting.
Yeah, well, that's
price to earnings ratio 13.1, and there's no dividend on HCA. Yes,
well,
your eye on it.
Well, for me, it's always a case of when you have to go to hospital, it's sort of like an involuntary outing to a very expensive hotel.
Yeah,
so I think, you know,
I wish you could liken most of them to your hotel.
Yeah, unfortunately, they probably don't have the cuisine that you can find in a hotel. But so for me, hospital groups have always been attractive. I think that that's why I definitely like Mediclinic locally, also venturing into different markets and growing the opportunity
with the
set.
transaction
exactly.
recently.
But yeah, HCA, I agree with Paul. I'm actually surprised that it's as small as it still is. I would have expected it to be already much larger. It is a dominant player. It's a good company. It's got sort of a strong earnings stream. We've seen in the last numbers that they've increased their bed capacity and they've increased their uptake in the hospitals. They've had slightly less income from every bed, but they're also working very hard, like most other companies at the moment, at their cost control. So
well, perhaps in that is the opportunity, Paul.
Yes.
Yeah, so their chart is looking a little bit odd there at the end. I think there must be regulatory issues to do with the way the HMOs work in the US and so on, because they only have about 4 or 5% of the US market. So you know what? I think if you like hospitals, rather buy a Mediclinic, because hey, you get Africa, you get Switzerland, which is a great market, you get the Middle East, you get the UK, and it's interesting.
The global exposure without the
smaller,
headache
but
that HCA
in some
seems to be
sense not that much
experiencing.
smaller than this one.
Hot or not, HCA?
I'll give it a miss. I'll go for Mediclinic.
Hot or not?
Yeah, similarly, let's give it a pass, not hot.